Good afternoon. My name is Sabrina Brightstar. Today I want to talk about identity. Identity is a frequency, not a label. What? I had the most amazing dream. I was given a bunch of information downloads during dream time on February 25th of 2025. Today is March 6th, 2025. 369, magical numbers. It's 2025 is the year of 9. Today is 369. So identity. How can you lean into identity to expand, to explore your multidimensionality, to have more juiciness, to have more fun, more pleasure in your life? Well, first of all, let's think, what do we perceive that word identity? What is your definition of identity? Most of us are pretty locked in. Most of us have more of a, we lock it in. It's like a permanent, this is who I am. This is what I do. I do not do that. That's not who I am. Most of us have this belief system, and it's a pretty fixed point of view about your identity. Ooh, that is so good. So most of us have a fixed point of view about who you are. And what is a fixed point of view? A fixed point of view is like what I would call a period consciousness. We lock it in. It's a fact. It can't move. There's no space for it to change. So what if we looked at identity from what I would call a comma consciousness point of view? A comma consciousness, that's a frequency where it's a comma. You know, in the English language, when you write a sentence, when you're writing something and you put a comma, you can continue on. There's more to the story. There's more that can be received or more that can be explored. But if you put a period, if you lock it in, if you make it a solid, if you make it concrete, then you contract it, you hold it in place. So when we're exploring spirituality, when we're exploring multidimensionality, when we're allowing our consciousness to expand, to widen, to deepen, we want to be aware that we want consciousness. We want to intentionally open up the field. Okay, so what happened in dream time? So during dream time, I heard a voice. I didn't see a body, but I heard a voice. I was very lucid. And the voice said, "Who are you?" The voice said, "Who are you?" And for whatever reason in the dream time, I said, "I am a professional athlete." And I was. I am a professional athlete. I was. Just that easy, that simple. It's just what it was. And in the dream time, the voice said again, "Who are you? Who are you?" And then I said, "I am," and I gave a new definition of who I am. And that just kept repeating, right? It just kept repeating, "Who are you?" And I would say, "I am a musician." "Who are you?" And I would say, "I am," and whatever. And then I just instantly was. And I was hearing in dream time, I was hearing from this voice that had no body saying, "I am in motion." I am. Because our I am, our identity, can be fluid if we allow it. If we release the periods, if we release the concrete, this is who I am, period. If we open that up to a comma, if we open up identity and realize identity is just a frequency and it can morph, it can change. So the next morning I was just I was writing down, the dream. I was writing down because I was just getting all these downloads, and we can use identity to master shapeshifting, right? Shapeshift. We're shapeshifters. We are creator beings. We are so much more than these human containers, right, that are locked into a storyline or a matrix. We are infinite intelligence. We are creator beings. We are sovereign beings. And as a sovereign being who has free will, I get to choose what I think about. I get to choose what I believe. I get to choose how I identify myself. Sky's the limit. So why do most of us have a very narrow, broad bandwidth of who we think we are? Well, we got to think about, on the polarity planet, we need ego because ego keeps us alive. So what's the job of ego? The job of ego is to keep you alive and to keep you repeating familiar patterns, repeating familiar behaviors. Because ego doesn't like change, right? And it's not ego's job to create change. If you want to jump in or access your multidimensionality, jump in and access your shape-shifting abilities, you don't do that through ego, because that's not ego's job. Ego's job is to keep you alive. Ego's job is to keep things that are familiar, that are same. And that's great. But some of us, many of us, have made the mistake of trying to create a bigger, broader, more expansive life, but we're letting ego lead the way. And ego can't lead the way to that. That's not ego's job. Inner being can lead the way to a bigger, broader, more expansive life. Inner being can lead the way to your multidimensional abilities. Inner being can lead the way to your abilities to shapeshift, your abilities to be telepathic. Inner being knows how to get you there. Inner being can guide you there. So when we have regulated nervous systems, when we're regulated, we can hear and communicate with inner being differently. When we're in fear, when we're dysregulated, when we've got a lot of stress, anxiety, fear, scarcity, limitation, state of being, we don't have access to common sense. We don't have access. It's going to be harder to communicate, to receive messages from inner being, because our system is dysregulated. So that's why when we connect, when we're dreaming, when we do meditation work, when we do earthing, when we're regulated, it's so much easier to receive those hits, those downloads, those messages from inner being saying, come this way, come this way. Inner being can drop ideas into our field. Inner being, right, is always collaborating, is always rendezvousing with cooperative components to help support us to the path of least resistance, to whatever it is that we've put in our vortex, whatever it is that we say that we desire for ourselves. So this dream about recognizing that identity is just an energy, it's just a frequency, and it does not have to be a solid. Having your identity change or morph is a choice, and it can be really, really easy. And it doesn't have to be. Again, you are a creator being, your choice. You get to decide how you navigate things. You get to decide if things work very quickly, easily, effortlessly, gently, comfortably. And you get to decide if things are very difficult, very slow, they don't move. It's hard for you to connect. It's hard for you to expand. It's hard for you to wake up aspects of who you really are. Right? And that's what I think is so fun about multidimensionality. First of all, I just love, there's so many pieces of who I am, right? So not only do I have my storyline right now for who I am and how I've shown up so far, but I also can use the power of my imagination. I can also use the power of my ability to tap into parallel versions of myself, aspects of my multidimensionality, and I can entangle with those other personality selves, those other aspects of multidimensionality, to focus in on other identities. Maybe it would be really, really fun for me to be a musician for, a season or a cycle. Maybe my body would love that. Maybe my mind would love that. But if I function from, no, I'm not musical. No, I don't have musical abilities. No one in my family is musical. That's not who I am. I'm locking in an identity. I'm not open. I'm not receptive. I'm not available to shape-shifting. I'm not available to allowing the frequency of identity to help me step into something else just for the experience of it. Maybe as I become a musical person, maybe that's not my highest excitement, or maybe that's not something I want to continue. But why block myself from the opportunity to go play? Why block myself from the opportunity to go explore and expand and see what else is possible? So are you using your identity to stay locked in? And if you like it, great. And if you've been calling, you've been searching, you've been wanting to expand, you've been wanting to explore, you've been wanting to waken up more of who you really are, you've been wanting to be a part of the great remembering, and remembering you're a multidimensional being packed full of multidimensional abilities and gifts. If you're wanting to open that up, if you're wanting to activate more of who you are, you can use identity as a permission slip to go play. Like, wake up one day and say, oh, who do I want to be today? And just make it easy, make it fun, make it simple. Oh, today I want to be a musician. I'm a musician, right? Today I'm a chef. I'm a baker. Whatever you want, whatever feels fun. We can just use different titles, different adjectives, different identities for the freedom of exploring, of playing. And there might be, it might be like unexpectedly really, really fun. So using identity, we can use our identity to stay same. We can use our identity to stay small. And we can use identity to explore, to have quantum manifestations, to have quantum shifts. We all like things in a different way. I like the quantum. I like the radical. I like the holy shit. Like I never saw myself doing that. That would be so fun. Just even for a moment, even for a season or a cycle to play with that identity and to really know, like in my dream, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Allow your identity to be new over and over and over again, right? Who are you right now? Who are you right now? Who are you right now? We're multidimensional beings. We're multidimensional beings. We are God in form, right? We are God, Goddess in form. We have a physical body. What a gift. What a blessing. So happy 369. I hope you're having a magical day.